This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, hello, whatever time it is with you and wherever you are. Thank you for downloading this SmackDown review as part of the WWE podcast. As always, it's an absolute pleasure to have you listening along. I am Amanda, your host of this SmackDown review. Before we get to SmackDown, I just want to talk really quickly about Raw. I thought Raw was a really strong show this week, and we've got Cena as the new Intercontinental Champ. I really hope that means they have a cool plan for Dom. Let's hope they do. I fear they don't. And I don't mind at all WWE letting Cena complete his Grand Slam. It's totally deserved. And we had Bliss and Flair dropping the tag titles to the Kabuki Warriors and setting up the War Games match. We got Rhea back for the first time after a broken nose, which is completely awesome. We also got Nikki Bella turn on Stephanie Vaquer. Not sure what they are planning to do with that. I mean, it doesn't exactly run very deep. They've been friends for about a week. But anyway, a strong Raw, so I'm hopeful that we might get an equally strong SmackDown this week. So everything crossed. Let's get to it then and review the SmackDown that aired on November the 14th from Albany, New York. A place that, of course, like probably every other British person, I have been a couple of times. I mean, not Albany. Sorry, Albany, but New York. We start off the show with a look at the events of last week with Flair and Bliss dropping the title, as we mentioned, and then everything that happened with Nia's new mate Lash and the setup to War Games. And yay! Rhea starts off the show tonight with Io. Great to see them both back, and she looks completely badass with her new face mask on, and the crowd are off the chart for Rhea. Rhea has the mic, and she says that since she's been out, the Kabuki Warriors have been causing chaos, and now they're the tag champs. They think they're untouchable. She says when you throw in Nia and Lash to the mix, they now think they're even more untouchable, and they have the numbers advantage. She says the funny thing about numbers is that you end up with more enemies. Io agrees, a lot of enemies. She says they always catch up to you, and now there is nowhere to hide, and Io says, War Games! Rhea says, you know what, we aren't going in alone. She brings out Bliss and Flair. And you know what? I think this might be the most over face War Games team we have seen in ages. Rhea makes a point of saying some of the teams, so I'm guessing that we've got one more woman to be revealed for each of the teams. Probably Stephanie for the faces, Nikki for the heels, maybe. Bliss says that the Kabuki Warriors want to play dirty, that's fine, and Nia and Lash want to stick their noses in, that's fine. We now have a chance to get them all in the same ring together, so they are on. She says they started it and we are the ones to end it. Bliss says the second Rhea mentioned War Games, she knew they were in. And she says, right, Charlotte. But Charlotte says she can't do this, she can't pretend anymore. She says to Rhea that she doesn't like her, she doesn't trust her, she calls her a snake. Charlotte says there's far too much history, and just because they have some of the same enemies, they can't forget what has gone on between them. She tells Bliss that she is her friend and that she trusts her. She says, if you want to do this, I understand, but count me out. I thought this was really interesting. The crowd literally instantly turn on Charlotte straight away. She goes to leave the ring. She walks up to the ramp, and the face team are left standing in the ring down to 3, apparently. And I thought this was a really good opening segment. It's believable that Charlotte would take some persuasion to join the team. I thought for a minute that they were going to do the breakup of Bliss and Flair right here, right now, but it didn't happen, thankfully. So I guess we have a bit of back and forth as Charlotte gets persuaded by Bliss to join the team. Maybe we get Flair being attacked by the heels some point tonight or Monday. to make her mad enough to put her distrust of Rhea on the side and get back on board. Interesting how quickly the crowd started to turn on Flair, and that's how fragile her faceness is, I guess. As long as she's with Bliss, she's good. But after that segment, we get Cole and Corey saying things weren't expected to go down that way. A really strong open. We get our rivals. We've got the B-Fab and Jade match tonight. LA Knight in Cena's tournament against a surprise opponent. Who do we think that is? Rumour has it might be Joe Hendry, which I know will make DJ Kuzmo a happy guy. Let's see. I'm still hoping for Jericho. Did you see the picture Jericho posted this week of him looking all shredded? Granted, old and wrinkly, but still shredded. Next out, we've got Jey Uso in the Cena tournament. He's facing The Miz. Bit weird. I mean, what are the odds of either Jey or Miz being Cena's last opponent? I would say 2 hopes, and that's Bob and none. But we do love a tournament. Jey is still way over, or at least his theme tune and catchphrase are. I wonder how much of it is actually down to those kind of things, and how much is the in-ring wrestling stuff. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's all part of the entertainment package, but you do wonder how much of it is down to these elements. This one kicks off, and we've got comms telling us that Miz has been saying for months that he should be the guy that is seen as last opponent. Corey saying that everyone is desperate to get the opportunity because who wouldn't want to be the one guy to retire Cena? Now, can we just talk about that for a minute? Cena is retiring after Saturday night's main event, and that's been set for well over a year. He's retiring anyway, so the match isn't to retire Cena. That's happening. The match is to be his last opponent. And that's going to just really annoy me because we keep talking about being the one that's going to retire Cena. You're not retiring him. He is retiring, and you are competing to be his final opponent. And I know it's semantics, but it annoys me. Anyway, this match has started, and Jey is in charge outside the ring, delivering punches in the corner, leaving Miz rolling. Miz, though, making a comeback as he delivers a massive kick to Jey on the floor, reminiscent of a yes kick. Getting himself a close cover. Corey on comms, talking up Miz's past accomplishments. And as to be said, we do have a very serious version of Miz tonight. He looks all business. There's no laughing, no joking. He's in charge and slowing things right down. He hits a neck breaker, gets a close cover along with some pretty outrageous shot calling that you could spot from space. Miz drops Jey with a spiked DDT and gets himself a really close cover as this one continues. Miz goes to give the 5-knuckle shuffle to Jey, which he does, but before he can finish it off with the attitude adjustment, Jey super kicks him. We get a skull-crushing finale from Miz, but Jey kicks out. And this one finishes against the run of play. Jey hits the Uso splash and gets the win on Miz. A great match, as it should have been, and you'd expect it to be. Jey progresses. It really should have been Miz, in my opinion. He was in charge for 99.9% of the match. But Miz used again to be buried and Jey pushed. But we know that when the time comes, they won't have the confidence in that push, so they won't really push him all the way. Sigh. Anyway, as I said before, I don't think there is any way Jey wins this tournament, so in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't really matter. We go backstage where Nick is speaking to Ilya Dragunov, who, let's just say it now, has been a brilliant US champ so far. He has given us some absolute barnstormer matches, and long may that continue. We get Ciampa and the rest of DIY approach, and he says that he hopes Nick is telling Ilya how to be a good champion. Nick says to the whole of DIY that it's up to the champion to decide how he defends. I'm not sure that's completely true, but anyway, they kick off again about Ilya calling Ciampa a jackass. Ciampa calls Ilya a muppet for denying him a shot last week and the week after week. Ilya says he promised to do things the right way when he took on the Open Challenge, and the right way means not giving opportunities to jackasses. He says it means to fight warriors who fight with respect and honour, and he says tonight he is given the opportunity to someone who fights with honour and someone he respects. Ciampa throws a full-on toddler tantrum and leaves. We then get Nick approached by Heyman and Bronson Reed. Heyman's holding some kind of contract folder and says he needs to talk to Nick. Very mysterious. Is that something to do with War Games or some kind of title shot for one of the Bronze or both? No doubt Heyman is always up to something. We get Nick backstage. He's calling security to his office to escort Heyman and Bronson Reed out. Nick asks Heyman, before you are escorted out, what do you want? And Heyman calls him dramatic. It is the War Games agreement, and Heyman says he's entitled to take any talent for the team across any brand. Nick says, duh, you didn't need to come and tell me that. I already knew. You need to leave. I'm not having the Vision disrupt my show. And with that, Cody appears. Heyman calls him the Golden Goose, which is very appropriate as we are approaching pantomime season. He's behind you. Cody says to Heyman, what do you want to talk about, Heyman? He says he wants to talk about him getting involved in Vision business on Monday. Cody says this is SmackDown, and if you're not here to fight, you should leave. Reed steps up and says he's here to fight, and Cody makes the match himself, which, again, not sure we could do, but he does. Heyman says let's make it a title match, and Cody tells Nick to book it, which he does, and we've got a title match. These GMs really need to get a hold of their brands. This is like the third or fourth week in a row that we've not had any main event booked, and then luckily someone turns up and we get our say to main event. Obviously, I'm being very facetious, but seriously, that was a bit of a weird setup. I mean, is there any chance that Bronson Reed wins? I don't believe so, but I guess you never know. Just look at Chelsea and Julia. I suspect this will be a finish with plenty of shenanigans and maybe the intro of another War Games team member for either, both, one or the other of the men's sides. Either way, should be a decent match, I guess. Next up in the ring, we've got Ilya Dragunov, and he is facing Axiom in the US Open Challenge. And again, this should be a good match. Dragunov starting off strong, but Axiom using his speed well. Corey tells us that these two have met in their NXT days, but now Axiom has changed the game. And he's good, and I like him, but I'm not sure he's game-changing good yet. But anyway, Ilya making his power pay now, and he just about takes Axiom's head off. Axiom with a fight back, but soon enough we get Ilya slowing things down again, taking back control. Dragunov gets himself a close cover after a headbutt and a suplex. And he carries on the beatdown on Axiom. Another 2 suplexes leaves Axiom getting himself pretty much turned inside out. Axiom, though, does make a bit of a comeback. He gets a double-legged drop kick off the top rope, gets himself a close cover from nowhere. And now Axiom's mounting a comeback, but Ilya just flattens him with a kick in the mouth. Axiom with a move then that was quite phenomenal. It ended with DDT to Ilya, but Axiom defied the laws of gravity, making it happen, going off the ropes. It was just amazing. He gets a cover, which is a genuine 2.999, and wow, what a move that was. I am going to go back and watch that on YouTube. This one ends with Dragunov hitting the H-bomb and retaining, but what a match. Wow, Axiom is quite something. Maybe Corey is right with this game changer tag. Once again, the US Challenge doing exactly what it should and putting over all kinds of talent we haven't had a chance to fully see before. An absolute banger. And I say, let's have Ilya Dragunov as champ forever. Backstage now, and we've got Truth with Nick asking again to be in the draw for the tournament. Again, Nick tells him that he's already in, but for a quiet life, he takes Truth's balls anyway. And again, with the balls thing. We then get our new US champ on the women's side, Chelsea, coming in. She says to Nick she wants to know why she didn't get pyro when she won last week. She asks why he's cancelled her celebration this week and says that she wants one next week with pyro. He agrees to make that happen. So I guess next week we will get an idea of where we are going with Chelsea's second title reign. Now, do we think we're ever going to get a Piper Niven return to the Secret Service? I haven't seen any reports recently on her injury. And who would we like to see Chelsea defend against? I'm sticking with my idea, and I would love to see a women's US title open challenge. Just think about it. Every week we get Chelsea desperately trying to get out of it. Every week. So, hide in the toilet, don't show up until really late for the show, etc., etc. Really sort of ham it up and make a thing out of it. And then every week she somehow pulls it out of the bag and defends her title, and we go on like that for a few months. I mean, that would just be awesome and such fun. And it could do the same job that the men's US Open title is doing. We could have some some NXT talent. We could have some TNA talent. We could have talent from, anywhere come up for the Open Challenge. They could be pushed and put over, and we see Chelsea at her best, because she is best when she is working with a slightly comedy angle. So I am pushing that. WWE, you're not listening. I wish you were. Let's that be the thing that happens with Chelsea's championship. We get Sammy backstage. Let me guess, still not cleared to compete. We get another segment of him begging Nick to let him be at ringside. Yawn. We then go for a break, and as we come back, we get some footage of Axiom being attacked by Ciampa post-match, with Nathan Fraser making the save. And now we get Sammy out, not dressed for the ring at all, so let's see what he has to say. He comes to the ring, and he says that since he's come to SmackDown, there have been some big highs and some big lows. He says that he did what he said he was going to do, and he beat Solo for the US title. He got to face Cena on his last ever SmackDown, and he's got to go at it with the best talent. He says the last few weeks have been hard for him, as he's had to watch the MFTs and Solo run through people that he likes and respects. And as he's not being cleared to fight, that's been really difficult for him. He says that he does understand Nick's point of view about him being a liability, and he sat back and did nothing, but he's here to say that ends tonight. He calls out Solo and says they have a problem with each other, so let's deal with it face to face. Solo's music hits, and out comes Solo, accompanied by his Kiss tribute band. Solo says to Sammy, "You think you know who you are, but you don't. The real Sammy is a pathetic liar who is desperate," and says that Sammy doesn't care about anyone but himself, not the guys in the back, and certainly not the people in Albany. Solo says that he cares about his family, Kiss. He cares about their loyalty to him. He tells Sammy he knows nothing about loyalty and he should watch how he talks, or he will kick his ass. The MFT approach the ring, and Solo tells him this could end very bad for you. He says that he could drop him, but he won't. He says he wants to wait until he's cleared, and when he is clear, Solo says he is coming for him. Sammy tells him that he won't have to wait long. As of tonight, he is medically cleared. Sammy says, "Before you do go ahead and kick my ass, just know one thing, he didn't come alone." And from behind, we've got the Motor City Machine Guns, Shinsuke and Phoenix taking out the MFTs and leaving Sammy with Solo in the ring. Sammy gets the upper hand on Solo, but not for long. Talatonga makes the save and drags Solo from the ring. Predictably, put my teeth in. The MFTs bundle in on Sammy, but the faces stand tall this time. And we get Phoenix with a pretty impressive move, flying off the ring post to the outside, taking out the MFT. So is this another War Games team? Imagine that. If we had numerous War Games matches, that would be so cool. I mean, it must take a lot getting those double rings installed with all the bits and the accompaniments around the outside. So why not just really go for it? Just take the plunge. Have the whole PLE as just War Games matches. That would be so fun. Backstage now, we have Cody limbering up for his match. He's approached by Jay, who tells him he's got his back later. Jimmy comes and tells him that he also has his back. Jimmy says that he spoke to Punk earlier, and he's also on the War Games team. So, as predicted, I think we're going to get an absolute cluster of a main event, and it's going to end up in a big old brawl. Solo is yelling at Nick backstage, saying that he wants Sammy. Nick makes a pre-War Games match, 5 versus 5 Survivor Series elimination match. So a pre-War Games snack, if you like. That'll do. We get the usual Wyatt 6 funk across the screen. One of them was lingering at the background. I didn't catch who it was, so I'm guessing that there's going to be an angle there too. And listen, guys, I wish they would use the Wyatt 6 more. They are really great talent, and we see so little of them. Now, I don't know if that's because they want us to leave us wanting more, or if creative just don't have much for them. But I do want to see more of them as a group and as individuals. I mean, as an example, when was the last time we saw Nikki in a match? And she's good. Yeah, she's good. Give her a gimmick and she runs with it. I want to see more of the Wyatt 6. And I know that's probably slightly controversial because a lot of people don't like them and think that their gimmick of being Bray's gang is a bit old. But I want to see more of them. Next up, we've got LA Knight and his mystery opponents. And who is it going to be? And it's Zack Ryder. Well, you could have given me the whole rest of the day and I wouldn't have guessed that. Nice to hear comms referencing some kind of life in wrestling outside WWE, saying that he spent time on the indies in death matches. For those of us that lived through the Vince era, where all forms of other wrestling entertainment shows were banned from getting mentioned, this is really refreshing. Ryder looks good. He goes for a quick roll-up, getting a 2 count and taking Knight by surprise. This should be a good match. Ryder in control in the early goings, sending Knight into the steps, and the crowd don't seem to know who to cheer for and who to boo for, and it's all gone a little bit quiet. Another 2 count for Ryder, but Knight with a neck breaker forces Ryder to kick at 2, and now Knight is rolling, but Ryder managing to send Knight into the corner at full pelt. Ryder hits Rough Ryder and gets a very close 2 count. Knight hits the BFT on Ryder and takes the win, and Knight progresses to the next round. I don't know about you guys, but I always think it's a bit weird when they bring people back to lose. For me, so far, so predictable with this tournament. What's the deal with Ryder? Is he back, or is this a one and done? I guess we have to wait and see, but I want more from this tournament. And I know that Cena's got everyone all excited, saying, oh, people that don't even work here are going to get to have a go in this tournament and all of that stuff. And we've all gone fantasy booking mad. And I count myself in that. The things that we've been thinking about Edge, about Jericho, blah, 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 blah. Are we actually going to see any of those people, or is this going to be something super predictable? If it isn't Jericho, if it isn't Edge, who is winning this tournament? Who do you guys want to see face Cena as his last opponent? And I'm not getting on board with this. Who do you want to see retire Cena? No. Who do you want to see as Cena's last opponent? Take Jericho out, take Edge out. Who do we think it's going to be? I honestly have absolutely no clue. In the law of professional wrestling, it should be a heel, right? So if we look at the heel side of the draw, I have no idea. Does Brock Lesnar come back? I don't know. There we go, fantasy booking again. Anyway, look, we're just going to have to wait and see. Backstage now, we've got Bliss and Rhea with EO talking about the situation with Charlotte. Bliss says that Flair isn't responding to her texts, and Rhea says that they now need to find 2 people to complete the teams. Bliss says that she's sure she can get through to her, but mid-conversation, they are attacked by the Kabuki Warriors, and Nia and Lash pretty much destroy them all. That Lash is brutal. Blimey. They call her the bougie bully, apparently, and good Lord, she is, she is quite something. I'm quite looking forward to seeing her journey in SmackDown colours. Next out, we've got Jade. She's facing B-Fab, and I predict this will be swift and brutal. I'm sure they will make Jade look like an absolute beast and run through B-Fab in no time flat. We kick off and B-Fab gets a couple of drop kicks in, so that's good. Some elbows in the corner. Jade, though, comes out, punches a square in the face and starts to dominate big time. I've got absolutely no idea what it was like live, and I'm sure Matt can fill us in, as I believe that he is there at SmackDown tonight. But the crowd just seems totally flat. Jade hits Jaded and gets the win in a couple of minutes. Seems to me that Jade is not even over a little bit, and B-Fab is B-Fab, so meh. After the match, we get Michin out. She is saying she doesn't want any trouble, but Jade pushes her down and the two face off. I guess that's our next match then. Again, meh. I mean, Michin is more over than B-Fab, but there's not much in it. Anyway, that's a thing that's probably going to happen. And yeah, I'm not on board with this Jade train at all. Now back to Nick and his balls backstage. We get the next matches in the Cena tournament. It's Mello versus Bronson Reed and Penta versus Finn Balor. Two interesting matches, but again, do we see any of those four being Cena's last opponent? The only one, maybe, huge maybe, is maybe Mello, but I think that's a long shot, and he's not heel at the moment. They've turned him face. So how does that work? I mean, I guess maybe normal rules don't apply, but let's see. Backstage with Kathy, and she's got Mello and asks him what a win would mean to him next week. He says that Cena's a goat and there is a long line to face him, but he's in it. He says he knows if he gets the shot, he won't miss. He's approached by Bronson Reed, who tells him that he's going to beat Cody for the title tonight, and then he's going to destroy Mello last week. I don't see that working out for him like he wants, but let's see. We've got a promo from Aleister Black. He's with Zelina, and he addresses Priest. He says that he tried to crush him. He says that Priest is the only one who feels fear. Zelina said they told him that they would force him to break his code, and he did. Black says that he's putting the locker room on notice that he's everyone's enemy. Not totally sure what to do with that. Please, Black is getting some TV time, and the move to put him with Zelina seems to be working. So let's see what's next for him. But he did have his title shot last week, and he lost. So I'm not sure that him putting the whole rest of the locker room on notice means a massive amount, but let's see. As I said, pleased to see Aleister Black getting some TV time. The thing with Zelina seems to be working, so that's good. What's next for Priest? I don't know. I would love to see him getting into the main event picture, but that doesn't seem all that likely right now. But let's see how that all plays out. Main event time now, and with only 10 minutes left on the show, it would be interesting to see where this goes. And actually, by the time we've done the entrance and the commercial breaks, I think this was about the sum total of under 6 minutes long. This one kicks off with Cody and some of his punches, but he is soon outpowered by Reed, who completely squishes him. Cody is flattened again outside the ring. He does make a comeback, though, hitting the Avalanche Cody cutter and getting himself a good 2 count. As predicted, we get Breaker and Paul down to the ring, and they start to beat down on Cody after forcing the DQ finish. And then out come the Usos to even things up. They do a decent job of clearing out Logan Paul and Braun Breaker, going for the tables to make the crowd go nuts. Logan is just about to be put through the table, which, let's be honest, didn't we all want to just see him going through a table? When we get Drew McIntyre showing up and ruining everything as per. And this week he wears black. Last week he wore white. Don't know if that's significant. Nick storms down to ringside, starts shouting at Heyman. And so looks like we've got McIntyre added to the War Games team. We end up with McIntyre being handed the War Games contract, so that's happening. But what about him being suspended? I guess like Heyman just gets to make rules willy-nilly. Anyway, so we've got Drew now on the War Games team. The crowd are chanting for the OTC, and I'm fairly sure that will happen and we're going to end up with Roman maybe on the face team for War Games this year. But let's see. Look, I thought this was a much better show this week. I mean, the brand split is about as far down the toilet as it could possibly get. But comms tried their best to explain it all away by saying, well, War Games. So that's the thing. I mean, it's only, like a couple of weeks to War Games. We can let that go. I guess it is joint teams. So it does make a little bit of sense, but not a whole bunch of sense. I like how the men's and women's War Games teams are shaping up, though. Looking forward to next week's show. See where we go with Chelsea and the US title run. Jade's mid-card title run continues. She will surely face Meechin next week. I heard that Bianca might be close to a return. So are we looking at Jade versus Bianca? Looks like Raw is going to be a good one with Cena's last appearance on TV. Another mystery opponent, which I'm fairly sure at this point is going to be Joe Hendry. But might not be. Tonight's mystery opponent was quite a surprise to me, certainly. And we continue to ramp up for War Games and then pretty much straight into Saturday night's main event and Cena's last hurrah. So all in all, not too bad at the moment. I'm going to be really interested in hearing Matt's opinions on how the show actually went over live, because as we know, we don't always get a completely accurate representation on TV or Netflix or whatever, because obviously WWE are able to manipulate the crowd sounds and stuff. But I would be really interested to hear from him, so I'll certainly be tuning into all the other shows of the WWE podcast this week. So guys, that just about does it for this week's show. Thank you as always for having me in your ears once again. And remember, until next time, be kind.
Thanks for listening to the WWE podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.